Yeah, okay. So we're going to continue from where we left the other day. And so for this session, essentially we are going to do the initial environment setup. So we are going to set up our environment, and that will be conda environment. So we will be setting up a conda environment and also installing some of the dependencies. Dependencies that will be required for the said project. And then after we're done with that, we can set up the bucket. And as I had said earlier, we're going to use Black Blaze as our uh, environment. Environment, I would say we're going to use it as uh, not necessarily our S3 object. No, it's S3 object or like our S3 data storage. Yeah, S3 data storage. So that will be storing our. We'll use that to store our raw data. So the raw data will be stored in the Blackbase as a S3 storage. So raw data will be housed under Blackbase. So consider this as your data lake or a data warehouse in some sort of way, because I'll take it. Let's say this is our data lake, and it contains all the raw data that we'll be using within our model. And so that will be essentially where we are going to be housing that, because as I had said earlier, we need to create a project, or this project will try to actually mimic whatever we get in a production setting. Okay, so in a production setting, it's not obvious that it's not usual that you will be getting data. You will be getting data that is or you will be working with data that is in your laptop or so on or so on. So data will be housed within a different storage media. So it doesn't matter. It can be S3 storage, it can be a data warehouse, data lake, it doesn't matter. But just know that when it comes to such processes, data will be housed in a given database for that matter. Then it will be your responsibility to build those ETL pipelines. So the pipelines that will be used to extract that data from the respective storage, do the transformation, and also once that is done, you can dump that data to whatever source that you will be using. So essentially, that's what you will be required, and that's what we will be building under this case. So it doesn't matter. You can use a MongoDB. You can, for our case, I'm using a Blackbase. It doesn't matter. You can use any type of storage when it comes to that. So this is what I think I will be using, or we will be using. And yeah, so this is what we will be using for that case. So it doesn't matter. If you have any suggestion, maybe you could if you have any suggestion of the type of database that we can use, again, feel free to raise, and we'll be try our best to actually try to incorporate that in our various use cases. Okay, so that's what we are going to be doing for this. So this will be the IDE that I'm going to be using. I'm using anti-gravity. So I'm a little bit low in terms of compute, and so I don't think PyCharm will be the best IDE for me to use, though I really like using PyCharm. Okay, so this is the IDE that I will be using, and obviously the first thing is about creating your virtual environment. So we need to create our virtual environment, and with that virtual environment, that's what I will then use that to install our dependencies. So I'll just launch a new terminal. Then for this one, I will be using. I think I will be using a conda environment. You can use UV. You can use just create a Python environment. But for this case, I will be using a conda environment. And for that, I will be the command. So the command that I will run. So conda create hyphen, is it hyphen p? Hyphen p will be the path. You see what's the difference? You see, so what? I can just do a quick search. So what is the difference? So what is the difference between hyphen n and hyphen p in creating conda environment? Yeah, I think there are two ways to create a conda environment, and what's the difference between hyphen n and so using but I think conda environment, conda path, conda create, conda create, install the environment. Okay, we can just do. I just use conda create hyphen n. I think that one hyphen n. Then I'll just call it retail omnichannel. So that's the name of the environment. Then I'll state the Python. So I'll use Python 3.11 and just use annotation y so that in case of anything, retail omnichannel. Yeah, so that's the conda environment. So while we are creating the conda environment, you can do something else. So I'll import some of because okay, I'm not going to type these things one by one. I will import the I'll import the toml. So the toml file. So the toml file contains all the instructions when it comes to dependencies that we will be using in this project. So for the dependencies, I will use the toml. Yeah. So this is the build. No, it's not customer value analysis. So this one will call it. What is the name? Let's say retail. Yeah, just call it a retail MLOps. MLOps project, but it depends. You can use, so this is an end-to-end MLOps for retail and the supply chain, analyzing spoilage, prediction, demand forecasting. So there are a couple of demand forecasting and markdown for the given discount. So there are different projects that we are working on. Spoilage, we can just call this waste instead of spoilage. Analyzing waste, demand forecasting, which is also important for such a model, and also markdown and discount optimization strategies. Okay, so we'll have a README file. So the Python version that you're using is Python 3.11. Then keywords, authors. Okay, then these are the different dependencies. I think I'll remove the weights and bars. I don't need the weights and bars because I've decided to go fully open source. So I don't need that one. So these are some of the dependencies that we are going to be using under this. So as you can see, we have a feast feature store that we'll be using, feast Redis, because Redis will be important, especially when we are creating our online store, because when we are deploying this model, it will be necessary for us to actually ensure that we're able to optimize the model for online predictions. And what is the best tool for that process? That would be Redis. Okay, so Google BigQuery will be our offline store, while the Redis will be our online store. Okay, so for real-time predictions, Redis. For offline predictions, Google. I will use Google's BigQuery for that. Don't worry, I will show you that. DVC, data version control, again, is very important when you're working with ML systems. You have to version your data, you have to version your models, and so on. Okay, so ML flow, this one will be used for versioning those models so that we understand version 1, version 2, version 3 of the different models. Then DVC, data version control. This will be important when it comes to versioning your data, because once you version your model, you also have to version that data. So those two things go hand in hand, so that you're able to track the data that you trained a model with and the version of that model. Okay, so that you can do the fallbacks and so on. Okay. Then I think I've forgotten one. So this one, I think, is it called evidently? So if I'm not evidently, yeah, I think evidently will come into play when we are doing data drift, concept drift, and so I don't think I have it here, but that will be another open source tool that we can actually use when it comes to such processes. So evidently, to manage the data drift. And again, this is something that if you are building ML models that you need to be concerned with. Data changes, the environment changes. And so if you are deploying these models, doing model governance in production, that is one of the core things that we need to be tracking. And evidently will be the tool, the open source tool for us to actually track that process. Okay, so there are two. So one is concept drift, and the other one is data drift that you should be concerned with when you're deploying these models. Okay. Then Dagster will be used. I think I explained this. Dagster will be our friend, important when it comes to building those ETL pipelines, the extraction, transformation, and loading pipelines. Those will be handled by Dagster. So Dagster will enable us to wire those pipelines together, so that with just a single click of button, you're able to run your entire ETL process. Okay. So yeah, I think that's it. The other ones, Optuna for hyperparameter search, Light Boost, XGBoost, these are for the models that we are going to be using under this. Okay. So if there's any other open source ML tool that you are thinking of, please just comment and just comment. Then I will try my best to see if I can actually integrate the said open source tools when it comes to building such projects. Of course, when we deploy things like Bento ML, Seldon Core will come into play. But for now, let's just focus on what is achievable as of now. Then for the other tools, we can look into that as time goes by. Okay, so that's it. So this is our PyProject.toml. Then for the terminal, I think so for the terminal, I think so once you create your environment, you need to activate your environment. So we can just run this command, conda activate retail omnichannel. So conda activate retail omnichannel. So we are going to activate our environment. So conda activate retail omnichannel. So we activate the environment. Then we can now install all the dependencies. So just know, I don't know why, init init before you do. So for changes to take effect, close and reopen the current shell. So I'll just close this. Then I'll open another terminal. I usually prefer Git because sometimes PowerShell tends to have these unnecessary errors. Then you tend to wonder why. So conda activate retail omnichannel. So once we activate our environment, we have to, don't know why I'm getting this. So once we activate, but just run the conda activate omnichannel. I don't know. Conda env list. I think we should be having that. So once we install our environment, so I think retail omnichannel, this is the environment. So once you activate your environment, and you have your pyproject.toml file that contains all your dependencies. So you can just run conda install -e dot. So conda install -e dot, and this will compile each and every dependency that you have within the dependencies list. This one here, and then it will install all this. Okay. For the others, I have not attached the version, and again, it's very important, especially this feast. Feast, you need there's a version you need. I think you need version 0.63.0 if I'm not wrong. That's the correct version for feast. Otherwise, if you use the latest version, you're going to have challenges, especially when launching the feast UI, where you want to see all the list of your features. So anyway, I don't know why. No. Conda install. Supposed to be conda install. Install -e dot. So remember to have a space between your e and the dot. Okay. So that's how you install your dependencies. So just run this command and you will install the dependency. I don't want to do that because it might take some time, but you can do that. So once your dependencies are installed, then we can do a couple of other things. Let me minimize this. So you can do a couple of other things. So the first thing that I will do, I will have an entity, not an entity, I will create this folder called the shared. So shared will house all our shared configs, shared files, and so on. So I'll create, under the root folder, I will create the folder shared. Okay, then under shared, we'll have all these. So let me start. We can create the logger. So we'll under shared. So I'll just paste. So I'll paste the logger. So logger contains all the how we are going to be doing the creating the logs. So if we are building a step, a process, then we need to be doing the checking the logs. Okay. So logger will enable us to do that. And this is a shared folder that will be used by the different pipeline. So we have the training pipeline, the prediction pipeline, the ETL pipeline. Okay, so instead of creating a logger for each and every pipeline, you can just create one, and it can be used by all the entire processes. Okay, then you can also create another one for exception handling, and with the exception handling, this one enables us to capture those errors. So we can have the error severity, low, medium, high, critical. Then we can have, let's say for the data ETL, so you can just define those when you're doing the data ingestion. We can have errors for that. So this is like a mega tag when you're working with the ETL. So if it's an ETL process that involves something to do with the transformation, so you can just attach this error category transformation within the ETL process, so that it becomes easier for that. For the feature store, you can use this. For the model training pipeline, so if you feel that you need to add more, you can just come at this section and you can add any error category, so that it's able to point to that. It's able to point to that. Okay, so that's it. Also, another thing, Python JSON logger. Another thing is about the commons. So commons represents it represents the different file, not the different files. These are the reusable functions. So it's supposed to be is supposed to be shared, just shared commons, not ETL. So the commons, this represents the different. It represents the different the reusable functions within the entire project. So instead of creating these functions over and over again, you can have the commons just dump all your reusable functions. Then it becomes easier for you to call those functions whenever you want to apply whenever you want to use that function in any way. Okay, so we will be reading different YAML files. And for that purpose, for that matter, we don't need to be creating every now and then to be creating the read YAML file. You can create it once within your commons file. And once you've created that, you have created all your functions, then you can just be calling that. Okay, so read YAML, we can have created directories. So if you want to create a directory, you don't need to be repeating those functions over and over again. Create column name, clean column name, standardize column names for Feast, and so on. Save the Paquet files, load Paquet files. So all these are the reusable functions that we'll actually need within our project. Instead of creating them over and over again, you can just create them once and do the importation as you go. So any reusable functions, we'll just be adding them under this section. So that okay. Then and after that, there's also this configuration manager. So within, just copy this, then I'll just paste it here. So again, within our project, we'll have this configuration manager, and this configuration manager is the link between your component and the entity. So I'll show you how to create the entity and the component later, but this one will for example, it will create those files. Is it the files? Yeah, it will create those files whenever before we execute the component. So a component is the piece of code that will execute the entire ETL. For this matter, ETL. It will execute. It will read that data, do the transformations that we'll specify within. Then it will dump that data within the created files and folders. Okay, so configuration manager is tasked with that process of creating those required folders where data will be housed and so on. So that's the work of the configuration manager. So this will be, again, we can create it once, and all config ETL config managers within our project will reuse these components. So we don't need to be creating that again. Then the other thing, I think that one will create, I think the black, I'll add another one. So that's the black paste. So that's the Blackblaze client. So this is the client that we'll be using, because we're using Blackblaze client for us to, where we'll dump all our data, the raw data. Okay, so we just create this client that will be doing the entire process. So this one, make sure we'll have an just create your OS get.env. That means you'll need a .env file. So I can just get it here, .env file. So the .env file will house all our what do we call those? It will house all of the your API keys. So those environment variables or environment keys that you will need in your entire process that you don't need to share with everyone. So all those will be housed under the .env. And the Blackblaze client will definitely have those. So the Blackblaze key ID and the application key. Okay, so I will show you how to generate those, and where you'll now paste them here so that the client can actually use. So we initialize the client. Then if you want to download, okay, download the S3 bucket. Then read Paquet files to Polar. So once you import those data, we need to convert that to Paquet file and so on. So any other thing that you need your Blackblaze client to do, just input that here, and you just be calling that function. So this will be our client, and the client will handle anything that we will require when you're moving data and so on. Okay. So I think I've created that. Another one that we'll create later will be the GCP client, because we'll be dumping this data to BigQuery. And so once that again comes up, we'll look into that. Okay. So another thing, I think that's all. That's all. So let's look at Blackblaze. So Blackblaze, how to create Blackblaze. So as I said, Blackblaze is an S3 storage. So S3 storage that we can use to store our raw data. So this one again is straightforward and very simple. Don't need a lot of hassling. So you can just go to Blackblaze. You land to this site. Then you can create a new account if you don't have. You can just create a free account if you don't have. But as for me, I've already created it, so I just do the signing. So I'll sign in. So once you sign in, you'll be required to enter your email as well as the password. I think that's what we are going to be asked here. Yeah, so email, individual account, blah blah blah. So I just use the my email. Okay, so I just use my email as well as yeah, I'll insert my email and then the password. So once you have your email and the password, then that's it. You're able to log in. For now, I'm using. Then I have to enter the 6 verification code sent to your email. Let me look for that. Just there's a verification code sent to my email, and I will extract that verification code, insert it, then we can continue. So this is bit case sensitive, so I'll just insert, then I'll enter the code. Okay, then that's the two-step verification. So once that is done, then you can land on the object storage. Yeah, so this is my object storage. There are different bucket ID. Okay, so this is the buckets. You can create a bucket. You can just click the button, create a bucket, enter your a unique name. Do you want it to be private or public? Then default encryption, enable or disable, doesn't matter. Then object lock. So you can just read through and find whatever you can use. Then for the browse files, so you can I've already created my object storage, this one. So you can actually now browse different files. So see what files they are or what files you have within your the object storage itself. So I don't know why it's taking time, but yeah, so so you can just be patient. So yeah, I think I don't know why it's taking time, but anyway, so that is Blackblaze. Don't know why. Anyway, creating. Yeah. So I think once you create you'll be able to see the bucket, and then it will have a simple upload data, and you will be able to upload your data. You will be able to upload your data, and you'll have that within your the buckets. And once you have within your buckets, you can now copy your key ID and the application key. These are somehow case sensitive, so I won't be showing mine, but just try to include yours under the black blaze. And then I think you will be having the required information for that. I don't think there is any other information that you'll be required to get from black blaze, unless if there's any, I will just inform. Because you have your S3 name, definitely you have to provide your S3 name. Yeah, so this is my S3 name, so this is my storage. Then with my storage, I think you're able to see the data itself. So for the application keys, you'll find it here. So I don't want to show mine, but yeah, so under the buckets storage, retail omnichannel folder that is housing all my my data. So all my data is under this process under this, and yeah, I think that's it. So then you can provide. I think those two are the most important. Two are the most important keys. So black blaze key ID and the application, and those you will find them under this under the applications key. I don't want to show mine, but I don't again start to spend time changing those. But with the application key, you'll be able to find those. Okay, you'll find your key ID, and during creation of you'll find your key ID, and during creation of the application, I think the new application key, you will get you will get your application key, and the key ID is already there. Okay, so once you have those, you can just paste them here, and then I think you'll be good. You will be good to go. Also another thing, I think nope, I don't have any other thing. So today I just wanted to set up all this. So remember, under the shared contains, it's like the utils. For those who are aware of this, it acts like a utils file or folder. So with the utils, you place all your reusable functions and all that under utils, and this is where all those files will be housed. So again, we have the commons containing the common functions, the replicable functions, config manager. That one I will show you how we will be applying that. Exception for capturing errors, and logger for logging important details during code execution. I don't think I have anything left out for today. I just wanted to share this. I don't think I have anything left out today. Also, for the data, because you already have my source, I will share with. Let me share with you how. Copy. I can just paste it here. Yeah, for the data itself. So this is how I'm doing the split. I think this is also important. That should be important for you. So this is how I'm doing the split. So because my data itself has about 43 columns, and I wanted to split those into tables so that you're able to do the ETL process. You're able to see how we merge those tables, how we create the entity table with the feast. So for all that process, it could not have been easier for me if I was just using the 42 or 43 table. But I tried my best to split those into create tables out of that, and then with these tables that we are creating here, these are the tables that you will be required to upload within your storage. So within your storage, you will upload. So you'll upload all these files. So with these files, so these are just the same files that I'm getting from here. So we have table 1, product and supplier master table. Table 2 is about the location data, so region. Then table 3 is about the IoT sensors and logistic telemetry. And then table 4 is about the inventory, waste, and all that information. So with those tables, you can just use this code to create those tables, and then just pass your file locations. Then I think with that, that will be okay. You're able to create those tables. So then get those tables and upload those tables to Blackblaze. And then from there, I think you'll have your data. You'll have your shared all the dependencies installed and all that. And yeah, so once you have all this in place, then I think you'll be ripe enough for actually beginning the entire process, because you have your data and you have placed your data in an S3 storage. So that means that database is already populated with the data that is required or data that is necessary for this project. Okay, then you have your logger, exception, commons, Blackblaze client, okay, already in place. So that means we are able to start our ETL process. Then you have your dependencies installed, and all that. So I think that one is okay with me. So I think that's it. I will close the chapter for today. So today was just environment setup and all that. Then I think tomorrow we are going to start with the ETL process. Okay. So before I terminate the entire process, let me commit this code so that you're able to also able to use it. I'll just I'll clear this. Then do git add dot, then see its status. So we are committing the notebook, so that you're able to do the splitting by project the toml. So this contains all your dependencies, Blackblaze client, commons. So that is the status. We can do a git commit. Then project setup, let's say environment setup. Then I'll just do a git. Don't want to use this for today. And then I'll just do a git push -new origin to main. I think that one is okay. So I think you're able to get that. You will be able to access that repo. Let me see. Retail omnichannel. Retail omnichannel. So I think you will be able to access all those files. This is the toml, the shared. So to commit. So I think everything is in place. So you can do the setup. Then I think tomorrow we will be starting on the ETL pipeline. So how do we extract that data from Blackblaze, do the transformations, and where do we save that? So tomorrow we'll look into setting up the BigQuery and starting on the process of the ETL pipeline. Hopefully we will end that tomorrow. Okay, so that's it. That's it for me on my end. Again, thank you for finding time to watch these videos. I'll try my best to be doing this live than pre-recording so that we can have that interaction. And also, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's through subscriptions. It is through consider subscribing to the channel. Then I will be glad if you actually do so. Then share the video with your friends and colleagues. So this is a learning platform, and so interactions like this will enable us to actually grow the community, share more knowledge when it comes to building machine learning systems. Okay, so that's it for me today, and until next time, see you.